Both movie studios and movie theaters are complaining that the box office seems to be dying, and what none of them seem to realize is that the call is literally coming from inside the house. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. This week I've seen a number of different articles about how different movie theater chains are trying to find ways to bring people back into theaters. It's no secret that the box office and theater industry never quite recovered after the COVID pandemic, but to be honest, I think there's a lot more that the theater industry and box office is currently faced up against than they really seem to want to realize. I found this article by the New York Post which talks about different things that movie theaters are trying to do to get people back in. Some theaters are installing cocktail bars, trying to include pickleball courts in the lobby. Others are going as far as to install bowling alleys into the lobby to try and get the theater into a place of more activity than just going and watching a movie. Interestingly enough, some movie theaters have decided that etiquette and respect for your fellow patrons seems to be the problem and are now allowing use of cell phones inside movie theaters because teenagers can't get off TikTok long enough to watch the next Avengers movie. That's where we're at. While some are currently considering allowing people to smoke the devil's lettuce in the lobbies. I'm not even kidding. I am dead f***ing serious. Well, I'm not serious about calling weed the devil's lettuce. I'm not f***ing Flanders from The Simpsons. I just thought it would be funny. Anyway, whatever. The point is that in this New York Post article, they literally included this bit. I have to read it to you. Kev Jones, a movie buff spotted by a reporter smoking weed outside AMC Times Square before a Mickey 17 screening this month, said he'd hit up the theater more often if he could legally light up inside. I don't even understand why they would include this. They asked some rando smoking weed outside. Like, how could we get you to want to go in there more? I don't know, let me smoke weed inside. Like, the jokes write themselves. So a lot of movie theaters are trying to figure out ways to get people back in. I personally, in my area, have seen at least 4 of the local movie theaters that I've been going to since I was a kid undergo major renovations. They've put in arcade machines, they've redone lights, they've tried to put in reclining seats, and unfortunately for all of us that like going to the movies, the teenagers living in the area have ensured that these recliners stay permanently sticky when you attend.
Make out reef. You know, make out reef.
So I'm not really a big fan of going to them anymore. See, the problem is that the movie theaters think that the movie theater is the problem. Like, yeah, what are we gonna do? Just expect people to go sit down and watch a movie? Yeah, because that's kind of what's been going on since the dawn of time. Before movies, we had people speaking in open spaces, and then we had plays and operas and all sorts of things. Since the dawn of time, human beings have liked going to a place to sit down and watch something be expressed in front of them. That's like an inherent human thing. We like seeing shit. The problem isn't the movie theater themselves. It's not that they're not letting us smoke the ganja in the theater. I think people can wait till they get home. It's not because we can't tweet while we're in the movie theater. The problem is the following. That movie theaters have gotten more expensive, right? I mean, there are literally some tickets at local theaters that can cost you $30 almost for a single ticket, because they're gonna charge you for the tickets, they're gonna charge you a convenience fee, they're gonna charge you a standing fee, they're gonna charge you a blinking fee. They got all the fees that they gotta cover before you even walk into the theater. And let's say you bought your tickets online and you're not gonna get tricked by anything in the lobby, but you decided to take that girl you met on Bumble to the movie theater. You're gonna tell a honey that she cannot have some Twizzlers. Twizzlers are a terrible candy. I would tell her absolutely no Twizzlers. You get some M&Ms like a bitch with some dignity. It's me, I'm a bitch with some dignity. I love M&Ms. But anyway, the point is that you're gonna spend money on concessions. I mean, the movie theater industry is essentially a tremendous racket that gets more and more expensive by the minute, and maybe we would be willing to spend the money on this expensive racket if we liked what we were watching, right? But the fact of the matter is that we make less and less money by the day. Eggs are expensive as shit. I'm not even gonna get into the egg thing, right? Well, maybe I don't spend $70 going to the movie theater this month because I need to buy groceries and my car needs gas. And even if we weren't reprioritizing, have you seen the shit that's getting released? The shit that's getting Oscar nominations. Things like Emilia Perez. We have the new Snow White, which is bombing at the box office because movie tickets are expensive and it's a ginormous piece of shit that not even parents want to take their kids to watch. You know how hard it is for a Disney movie to flop? They're making so much shit now all over Hollywood that of course we're not going and paying to watch anything. CinemaCon, I'm pretty sure, is still going on, and like 2 days ago, I was looking at the film slate for 2025 and 2026. I'm gonna go ahead and put up 2025 for you. There's hardly an original movie on this entire list. A year of remakes, reboots, sequels, legacy sequels, and complete f***ing nonsense. Do you know how crazy that is? 21 movies and hardly an original thought between all of them. And then I was like, well, maybe 2026 is better, right? Maybe 2025 is just a wash. Look at 2026. There's maybe like 1.5 original thoughts on here. Do you understand how insane that is to exist in a world where original thought in the cinema is now gone? Like, this is what we get. The theaters aren't going to and the box office isn't suffering because we no longer want to watch movies or because we want to play pickleball before we watch Shrek 5. It's because we don't want to watch Shrek 5. There is so much variation when it comes to cinema as an art, and they have abandoned art and instead have just decided, let's just make reboots, remakes, live action, whatever the until people's eyes bleed, and then we'll blame them when they fail. That's where we're at. My God, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. I'm like actually upset right now. The box office is dying and they think it's because they won't let us smoke weed in a movie theater. What the is wrong with you? I mean, the movie industry has fundamentally changed. You no longer see like small to mid-budget comedies along the lines of like a Wedding Crashers or Tropic Thunder to a lesser extent, or Talladega Nights, or any of those like mid-tier comedies that didn't cost that much to make, but they were really funny and well regarded and kind of became cult classics in the comedy world. They're not making those anymore. And if and when they do, they go straight to streaming because they no longer think that people are willing to go pay for these things in theaters. And to a large extent, yes, I think streaming is a big part of why the theaters are doing so poorly, because if I can just wait till this is out at home, I will. If I don't like the studio, I might just wait to watch it some other way. Streaming definitely put a big dent in the box office, but I think there's still something incredibly electric about sitting in a theater among fellow moviegoers, experiencing something together. And as somebody who admittedly really doesn't like being around people all that much, I still enjoy the thought of going to the movies. I still have such incredible nostalgia for this one movie theater that my dad used to take me to when I was a kid all the time, and the ticket taker would put on a French accent and call me a beautiful young lady, and it was adorable. We would get popcorn, we would get a nice fizzy Coca-Cola, and we would sit down and watch a movie, and you would hear the laughter of the people around you, and you would enjoy a film with other people. There is a magic in that. The magic has not been lost in that experience. I think society still calls for that. And we're not calling for bowling alleys to be combined with movie theaters. That's really not the issue. The issue is that the studios are not putting out things that we want to watch anymore. They're not putting out things that are worth watching with other people alone. They're not even worth paying a $7.99 streaming service, which streaming services don't even cost that little anymore. The box office is dying because the studios are killing it. We, the public, no longer have the financial ability to watch garbage. Like, we're not risking $60 on a movie that could suck. And quite frankly, a lot of what Hollywood is putting out sucks, so we're not gonna pay for it. Honestly, I think blaming the public and blaming the public's lack of an attention span or what have you for the reason why the movie theaters are dying is exactly why they're dying, because they're not looking in the right direction. And quite frankly, I think what the studios need to do, stop looking at the public, stop looking at the movie theaters, and look in the mirror. Put out a good movie. It doesn't need to be some global box office whatever. It doesn't need to be part of the multiverse, like the multiverse of Beatles movies that they're putting out in a few years. Just make something that people want to watch. That's really all it takes. That's how you get people back into the theaters. Get a return to form, get some good writers in there, get some good production value, good will put asses in seats. That's basically it. I know it's easier said than done, But that's all it takes. It doesn't take bowling alleys. It doesn't take people lighting up their grass in the theaters to get people reinterested in the theater. It might take the weed thing for that guy that was smoking weed outside the Mickey 17 screening, but the point is that we just want to watch a good movie. The studios are incapable of giving that to us. I guess we're going to be incapable of buying movie tickets. And that's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram. And if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I'll add links to all of those in the description below. Let me know your thoughts on the dying box office in the comments below.